What is sexual violence in armed conflict, IHL? Have you ever wondered how international laws protect individuals during times of war? One critical aspect is the issue of sexual violence in armed conflict. This topic is vital to understanding the conduct of hostilities and the specific prohibitions that exist under international humanitarian law. Sexual violence in armed conflict refers to acts such as rape, enforced prostitution, sexual slavery, forced pregnancy, and other forms of indecent assault committed against individuals during armed conflicts. These actions are strictly forbidden by international humanitarian law, regardless of whether the conflict is international or non-international. International humanitarian law, which includes the Geneva Conventions and their additional protocols, explicitly prohibits sexual violence against all persons who are not or no longer participating in hostilities. This includes civilians, prisoners of war, and wounded combatants. The law aims to protect individuals from violence and to uphold their dignity. Women receive special protection under these rules, particularly against acts of rape and attacks on their honor. Sexual violence is recognized as a grave breach of the Geneva Conventions. This means that it is a serious violation that requires states and parties involved in the conflict to prevent, investigate, and prosecute such acts. Customary international law also prohibits sexual violence, making it binding even in conflicts not covered by treaty law. The prohibition covers a wide range of acts beyond rape, including forced pregnancy, sexual slavery, trafficking, and other forms of sexual exploitation and abuse. These actions violate fundamental human rights and humanitarian principles and can amount to torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. International criminal law has evolved to classify sexual violence in armed conflict as war crimes, crimes against humanity, or acts of genocide when committed systematically or on a large scale. This legal framework is designed to ensure accountability for perpetrators and protection for victims. Sexual violence in armed conflict is not just a legal violation. It is sometimes used as a tactic to terrorize, displace, or destabilize civilian populations. The laws of armed conflict emphasize the protection of civilians and requiring all parties to take measures to prevent sexual violence, protect victims, and provide remedies. In practice, this means that commanders and armed groups are responsible for preventing sexual violence by their forces. States must also prosecute offenders. Victims are entitled to protection, assistance, and respect for their dignity. Sexual violence in armed conflict under international humanitarian law is a prohibited act that violates fundamental rules designed to protect human dignity and civilian populations during war. There are clear legal obligations for prevention, punishment, and victim support embedded in the Geneva Conventions, their protocols, and customary international law.